Good morning. These are your Tribune highlights for Thursday, November 20th, 2025, brought to you by your Daily Bahamas headlines. Today's front page is dominated by growing political tension ahead of Monday's by-election in Golden Isles. The Free National Movement is calling for the immediate removal of returning officer Neil Campbell. FNM Chairman Dr. Duane Sands says Mr. Campbell's personal connections and proximity to senior government officials raise what he describes as serious concerns about the integrity of the advanced polls. The Progressive Liberal Party has dismissed the claims, calling the FNM's demand an attempt to undermine public confidence in the electoral system. Mr. Campbell denies any wrongdoing, insisting he is impartial and has no conflicts of interest. In another major story, the Prime Minister's wife, Anne-Marie Davis, says she believes the killing of a pregnant woman should be treated as a double murder. Her comments follow the death of 7-month pregnant Lauren Saunders, whose body was found earlier this year. Mrs. Davis emphasized that abortion should only be considered in life-or-death emergencies and warned that expanding abortion laws could have unintended consequences. She called for a stronger national conversation about protecting women and children. Also making front-page news is the heartbreak of the Bell family. John and Michelle Bell say the murder of their daughter Paige stole their world. Paige, a 20-year-old flight attendant, was fatally stabbed while working aboard a yacht docked in Harbor Island in July. Her parents describe her as determined, joyful, and excited about turning 21. The accused is expected back in court today. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell is also in the headlines, hinting that Ambassador-at-Large Rick Fox should resign over what he calls political comments related to the Golden Isles by-election. Mr. Mitchell says ambassadors represent the government and must remain neutral. Mr. Fox, however, has pushed back, saying no one has ever told him his role restricts public commentary. Turning now to other national news, a suspended senior nurse at Princess Margaret Hospital, Pearl Williams, has returned to work with no disciplinary action following an investigation into photos and videos she posted highlighting overcrowded and unsanitary conditions at the hospital. Bahamas Nurses Union President Amancha Williams says this ruling is a victory, though concerns remain about systemic issues in public health care. Vendors at Arawak Cay continue to assess their future after Sunday's massive fire that destroyed several restaurants. Curly McDonald of Curly's Restaurant says the blaze forces vendors and officials to reflect and refocus. He says long-standing issues surrounding building standards, regulations, and political interference must now be addressed if Arawak Cay is to rebuild safely and sustainably. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force is mourning the death of leading woman Marine Stephanie Darville. Darville, remembered as a dedicated, disciplined officer, died last Sunday after a brave battle with cancer. Police also report several court updates. A man has been acquitted of a 2013 manslaughter case involving a Jubilee Gardens teenager. In another matter, a defendant pleaded guilty to having 20 rounds of ammunition. A 16-year-old boy charged with inappropriately touching a girl has been granted bail. And officers yesterday seized multiple firearms and marijuana during separate operations in New Providence. Internationally, former U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a bill compelling the U.S. Justice Department to release the full Jeffrey Epstein case files. The legislation will reveal years of records involving Epstein's activities, associates, and victims, some U.S. Lawmakers warn the release may cause embarrassment for political, business, and celebrity figures across the world. Editorial. Today's editorial argues that Rick Fox should step down as ambassador after commenting publicly on the Golden Isles by-election. The Tribune writes that ambassadors represent the government and cannot claim independence from the administration that appointed them. The editorial says allowing Fox to speak politically sets a dangerous precedent. One letter titled "Growth, Not Change" is needed, argues that the Bahamas does not need endless political change, but rather strong, consistent leadership focused on improving neighborhoods, strengthening social cohesion, and creating opportunity. Another letter titled "Child Safety is Non-Negotiable" calls for urgent protection of children, noting that modern technology and poor supervision leave minors increasingly vulnerable. Aviation operators warn that proposed new fees from the Civil Aviation Authority include too many bits and pieces and could harm competitiveness. Operators say nearly every segment of the aviation industry will be affected and that higher fees may discourage investment and raise operational costs. The Bahamian fisheries sector is divided over whether the Bahamas should sign on to a Caribbean regional fisheries management body. Some fear the move could weaken national control over marine resources, while others say it could strengthen collective regional protections. Developer Cebus Bastion is moving forward with plans for a major mixed-use commercial and recreational complex near the New Providence Gladstone Road area. The project includes retail stores, performing spaces, offices, and restaurants. Commonwealth Bank reports that loan approvals have increased, but some borrowers are still significantly below post-COVID financial expectations. The bank notes that many customers remain cautious, and some are still working to rebuild after pandemic-related financial setbacks. Goldie's restaurant at Arawak Cay is reporting a $6 million loss following Sunday's devastating fire, which destroyed its building. The owners say they are committed to rebuilding, but warn the cost will be significant. A cruise ship power provider has accepted an extra $12 million in investor capital after its $100 million bond issue was oversubscribed. The company says the funds will support LNG-powered shoreside energy supply at Nassau Cruise Port. A Bahamian seaplane operator has signed a $30 million expansion deal with a U.S. aerospace firm to grow inter-island aviation service. Cable Bahamas is reporting a near four-fold first-quarter profit increase driven by revenue growth and disciplined expense management. Executives say subscriber levels remain strong and expansion plans continue. A premium tea brand will open a storefront at Atlantis, describing the Bahamas as an ideal market for luxury beverage experiences. Additional notable stories. A new taxi union tour has been launched in Grand Bahama to attract visitors from Carnival's Celebration Key project. Union leaders say the tour aims to increase tourism spending in Port Lucaya. The Free National Movement is challenging the government's decision to approve the Rosewood Exuma project, arguing that concerns from local residents were ignored. Residents continue raising questions about poaching, fisheries management, and foreign vessels. The Bahamas National Fisheries Association argues that signing on to regional fisheries bodies will not solve long-standing enforcement issues. This has been your Tribune Highlights for November 20th, 2025. Remember, an informed citizen is an empowered citizen. Enjoy your day, be blessed, and be a blessing.